What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today, what the hell is Bacon's Rebellion? This is by Josh J. Mark, worldhistory.org. Bacon's Rebellion was the first full-scaled armed insurrection in colonial America, pitting landowner Nathaniel Bacon and his supporters of black and white indentured servants and African slaves against his cousin by marriage, Governor William Berkeley, and the wealthy plantation owners of East Virginia. What's Bacon's Rebellion? It was the first working class uprising against the corporate greed and powerful elite. And it happened in 1676. The conflict began over the fair distribution of land rights and Bacon's proposal to remove or eradicate the Native Americans who lived in the region following the Anglo-Powhatan Wars. Bacon died of dysentery after burning Jamestown, and the rebellion was crushed by Berkeley. The rebellion was later characterized as a precursor to the American War of Independence, in that it was interpreted as a revolt against British authority to establish colonial autonomy. Actually, Bacon's rebellion had nothing to do with colonial objections to British rule, and everything to do with colonial greed and corruption. Bacon was right in accusing Berkeley of favoring his friends in trade agreements and land sales, and Berkeley was right in charging Bacon with treason and vigilantism against Native Americans. The revolt is better understood as a conflict between the elite owners of large plantations near the East Coast and those who kept smaller farms inland, who were joined by landless servants and slaves. The rebellion is significant in that it was the first to unite black and white indentured servants with black slaves against the colonial government. And in response, the government established policies to ensure nothing like it would happen again. New legislation resulted in the dissolution of the indentured servant policy, an increase in the slave trade, the encouragement of the ideology of white supremacy, and further loss of land and rights for Native Americans. The aftermath of Bacon's Rebellion, in fact, can be understood as establishing institutionalized systemic racism in the English colonies, which would later become the United States of America. Bacon's Rebellion, you got to understand, happened before the American Revolution. So before the American Revolution, and sometimes you'll hear this in right-wing circles, they'll say, black people owned slaves. Before the American Revolution, during the British colonial times, indentured servitude was a thing that existed for black folks in America and for indentured whites. So the folks coming over, indentured servitude was a thing for both black and white, okay? And also, at the time, America had African slaves that were brought from Africa, which kind of lets you know that black folks were here. They weren't like new to the region. There were black folks here also, just by that, the way they're saying it. Black folks were immigrating or were already present in America at the time as well. Now, post Bacon's Rebellion, how did the government respond to this? Did they become more equitable with their land disbursements to quell the problem? No. What they did, they ended indentured servitude, made all black people slaves, and made the indentured whites the overseer class. They created basically law enforcement, which was the overseer class of whites, and slaves, while they reaped all of the benefits of everything else. So power learned from Bacon's Rebellion how to keep black and white separate ideologically and on the battlefield. That's what Bacon's Rebellion did. It taught power, that you can't abuse everybody equally. You got to exploit them at different levels so that they can always look down on someone else and say, well, at least my life isn't that bad because I could be that person. And it's a game as old as time, and it's something that we still fall for today. So that's Bacon's Rebellion. I'm gonna throw the link into the description box so that you can read the whole article. But that's it in a nutshell. Bacon's Rebellion taught power to use racism to keep black and white divided so that we never realize that we're getting screwed by the same powerful owning class. It still happens today. That's what the culture war is all about. It's just more modernized now. We have to stop falling for the okie doke. All right? When you look left and right, those are not your enemies. Those are your friends. The war, the real fight, it's up and down. And it'll take class solidarity to win always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. And remember, there can be no union without you and I front and center. Peace.